Blocking in. What is it and why would you use it? Blocking in is a technique of filling in your shapes with the appropriate colors. Blocking in can help you develop your composition, help establish colors, and also help with a smooth transition from your idea into detailed painting. It also helps you define shapes. You can block in with both oil paints or acrylic paints. I decided to use acrylic paints. The reason being is acrylic paint actually dries faster than oil, and it actually helps me establish my middle ground or the transition before I start applying the oil paint. Acrylic paint is a great base for oil paint. Now you can paint oil on top of acrylic, but you cannot paint acrylic on top of oil. Another benefit of using the acrylic is that if you do make a mistake or decide to change anything, it dries fast enough where you can actually rectify the problem. You can block in with oil, it's just not as forgiving as acrylic paint. In this case, this particular painting has your standard sky, your background with the mountains, but it also has a bridge, it has a lighthouse, it has the ocean. It's got a few different things in there. The benefit of blocking in helps you identify your shapes quicker. Looking at a drawing, sometimes you look at it and you have to really check it out really good to see the difference between ground level, ocean, sky, and if you have a bridge in there, sometimes you can't even identify it because it kind of blends in. When you're painting with color, it actually helps all these different things pop out. Your composition is another big thing. How well does it play on the eyes? Is it easy to look at? Are the shapes the right sizes? And if you moved them around, would it make a difference? Well, when you block in, you actually can easily see these shapes a lot better, especially with the colors, and colors do play a role on that as well. And you can change it if you need to before you really start getting into all the oil paint and all the details and all the time and effort, and then you find out, sure would have looked nicer if I went ahead and did this. Now, blocking in can also be considered an underpainting. Underpaintings have been used for many years by some of the greatest masters ever, like Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt. So this technique is not new, but it is still relevant. It's also normal for parts of this underpainting or block-in to show through at the final painting. It actually does help give it depth. Many oil paints are transparent, and when you use them as a glaze, it will actually show as a transparent layer that'll show some of the detail of your underpainting beneath it. Mastering this technique will help you achieve some of your best paintings ever. So I think you could see we're getting a better understanding of what the final result is going to look like. Gives you a lot more color control as opposed to the drawing that we originally started with. It also does help define the shapes, so you can see where the lighthouse is at, the little house next to it, the ocean, the land that the lighthouse is sitting on, the ridge right before it, the bridge, so it actually helps out with a lot. Oil painting is a lot smoother, and it is a very rich color. So when you look at one of these underpaintings, it does give you motivation to actually go ahead and grab your oil paints and actually get started. The nice part with acrylic is it doesn't take long to dry before you can actually start applying the oil paint. I'm a big fan of lighthouses. There's just something about them. This is one of my favorites. I actually have a couple. Do you know the name of this one and where it's located? There is something really special about taking your time and doing the best that you can on one of these paintings. Unlike the wet on wet method, which is painting everything in one session on wet oil paint, this technique allows you to take your time so you don't have to rush through it. This technique also allows you to come up with some great ideas that you can complete when you get a chance, whether it be months or even years later.